Hello everybody, NGS here and welcome back to Undead Girl Murder Farce, episode 7? Episode 7. 8, sorry, episode 8. Right, episode 7 was the previous one, this is episode 8. We are nearing the end. If I'm not mistaken, episode 12 was released today, so I'm a fair bit behind, but maybe I'll manage to catch up until the finale. I don't know, maybe it's gonna happen. I have another free slot because Atelier Ryza finished, so I might be able to record more Undead Farce. Did I say face initially, or did I say farce? I hope I said farce, but it's a really easy mistake to make, so forgive me if I said face. And someone's revving their car outside. Why? Why would you do that 2 in the morning? I don't know. Right, regardless, let's talk about the show. What happened in the previous episode, because oh boy, a lot has happened. First of all, the absolute 4D chess that Aya played with someone's like doing burn circle things in the parking lot, I think. 4D chess that Aya and Tsugaru, I guess to a degree, played with not with the Phantom, although I guess with the Phantom as well, but with Arsen, of course, right? Arsen thought that, oh, he managed to steal what he wanted to steal, but oh no, I actually swapped it, said Sherlock, but aha, I knew that you would swap it, so I stole it, and aha, but the safe is empty, there's Aya inside. It was great, I loved it, it was amazing. And then, I think Moriarty, I'm still unsure if it's Moriarty or if it's some other mysterious person, but I think it's Moriarty and his entourage. That is Carmelia, who is there, Victor, Alistair Crowley, and Jack the Ripper, I assume. Arrived because he also wants the gem, because the gem can lead you to the village of werewolves or something of that description, and he apparently wants to add a werewolf to his team. That's also the reason why I forgot what they're called, but Stingheart and Double Darts, the people dressed in white, members of some monster fighting organization, they also want that gem because it can lead them to the village of werewolves, and they can just get rid of a whole bunch of werewolves in one fell swoop. So it's a big battle for the gem. There's like 2 battles going on, multiple actually, but mostly just 2. There is Tsugaru versus Stingheart versus Arsene Lupin, just having fun and laughing and trying to catch the diamond and chasing each other on the rooftops, and it's so much fun. I love it. I absolutely adore it. And there's another fight that takes place inside of the mansion where people actually die. Innocent people, no less. Because Moriarty doesn't have the, morality of Lupin, for example, where Lupin just gets the thing he wants without any deaths. Not even all the people who were threatened by potentially drowning did actually drown. They were all freed in the end. So yeah, this is a big not a detraction, that's not the correct word to use here, a bit of a split from the usual tone of the show. We suddenly have blood and gore and a ton of deaths. And of course that fight inside of the mansion is divided further. Aya, Sherlock, and Watson are fighting against Alistair Crowley, who seems to be not really a magician, but rather he has really fast hands, so he can sling like paralyzing darts without anybody noticing, and it looks like magic. And Shizuku saved Ganimard or Lestrade, one of them. I think it was Lestrade, from Carmelia. And now we have another fight of Carmelia versus Shizuku. Meanwhile, Victor and Moriarty are somewhere in some other place in the mansion, and Jack is somewhere else still. Makes me believe that either Moriarty and Victor or Jack will eventually meet up with Tsugaru, Arsene, and Stingheart, and it's going to be a 4-way FFA instead of just a 3-way FFA, and that's gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy it, of course. And that's what the episode ended with, essentially. Besides maybe like Tsugaru falling into an abandoned church. Well, maybe not abandoned because it was on the grounds of Phileas Fogg's mansion, so probably not abandoned, but a church nonetheless. And that's where it got off. Oh, right, and the bridge has been blown up, so there's no escape from the mansion, seemingly, at least for some time, until someone brings enough wood or something to lay the planks over the moat and give them safe passage again. But yeah, that's where we stand, and in today's episode, well, I guess I essentially said what's going to happen, what I believe is going to happen. The resolution to the fight of Aya, Watson, and Sherlock against Alistair, the resolution of the fight of Shizuku against Carmelia, and Tsugaru's fight will be interrupted somehow, I think, by someone. I'm just not sure who. What's gonna happen to the gem? I don't know. It's equally plausible that it will actually be saved and secured, and it's equally plausible that Moriarty will get his hands on it. Depends what the story demands. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. So how about we just start watching this episode? How's that? How does that sound? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm also gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Support the channel monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 8 of Undead Girl Murder Farce in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, starting from the OP. I don't think that's happened yet in this show. I'm not sure, honestly. Wait, I didn't have it like... No, I think it's like synced up well. Yeah, it's synced up well. I thought I might have it like past the initial scene or something, but no, we are legit starting from the OP. Also, if I seem a little bit lethargic during the recording of this show, of this episode, that's because I am. It's late. I really shouldn't be recording those late, but I never learn. And I do record them late, and I'm sleepy and I'm yawning, and... But yeah, it is what it is. Show must go on and all that. Again, what's going on in the background? Is that Shizuku and someone? The Bankei. Okay, makes sense to join forces. Yeah, he was even cracking a smile. Shizuku. Or maybe not. Maybe some Japanese story or something. That was hardly enough. uh, yeah, probably. Right, and then there's the fight of Fatima versus Phantom. Forgot about that one. He's a phantom. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, okay. Shizuku is sustaining some damage. Unexpected. Interesting. She can catch the blade with the... Okay. That's cool. Meaning... Those words must have some significance, but they are lost on me. The significance is lost on me. Oh, her blood has like mind controlling properties or something? Oh, so that's what's there in the opening. I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we know where that scene came from. Oh, out of bullets. Where's Aya? That's a good question. Yeah, why do you need werewolves? Yeah. Okay, so I was correct. We have a confirmation. Okay. Good eye. How much of that antidote do you have, though? Victor? Flashback. Yeah, okay, so it is Moriarty. And so Victor as well. Yeah, not gonna get rid of him that easily. Yeah, even more of an FFA. Who's joining us? Jack. Jack, is it? Probably. He jumped in, cast Zawardo, got the gem, and she's disarmed now. Something fell down. I mean, she is immortal. Yeah, he stole her body. Okay. We have another detective on our hands. Researching immortality, perhaps? Hmm. You talking about Victor? Or are you talking about Jack? Yep, okay, Jack the Ripper. So we have a confirmation that this Jack is the Jack. Smoke bomb, essentially. Take off your gloves, Tsugaru. You're fighting a monster. Yep. Now he's entering battle mode. Pulling on his... What are they called? I forgot. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So, probably both Jack and Tsugaru were created by Moriarty. Okay. And the only two successful specimen were Tsugaru and Jack, I would assume. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Artificially created. Okay, so she's not like a natural born immortal, but rather has been turned into an immortal by someone? Hmm. He wants to add werewolves to the mix. Yep. That's a great track in the background, by the way. Nigh. Yeah, it looks like even Tsugaru might have some issues. Yeah, it seems like Tsugaru and Jack are essentially the same, except Jack has additional vampire cells. Yeah. Okay. And we have Tsugaru. A higher proportion of Oni to human. I guess that could be Tsugaru's to Tsugaru's benefit. Yeah, he's a performer by heart, after all. Dynamite. No, just a flare. Yep, that's the exact scene from the opening. Everybody's fighting for dear life, and Shizuku is just having fun right now. Okay, maybe not so much, but compared to what everybody else is going through, and she at least kept a little bit of her sanity, despite the effect of this aphrodisiac. Yeah, after all, Shizuku has only one master she serves, and just one lady of her heart. And that's your call to withdraw. Okay. I really was expecting that at least one of them will go down. But apparently there were no real losses. Okay, the banquet. That explains the title of this episode. So besides Fatima and Stringheart, everybody is perfectly fine. Except a few wounds on Shizuku and Tsugaru. Yep. So is Shizuku also strengthened somehow? Or is she just powerful for a human? Sure, but should you really concern yourselves with Lupin and Phantom right now? Okay, so he did take his query. I'm beholding. Oh, that's the episode. Well, shit. And it's not there. Is it? uh, uh, amazing. Amazing. Werewolves. Okay, so are we going on a search for the werewolf village now? There's 2 wolves inside of you. Okay. I mean, the name would kind of suggest that. True. I love Aya and Tsugaru. I love them. I said it so many times already, but I really do. Oh boy. Oh boy. That was a good but very short episode. So how about we watch it again to spend a little bit more time with it? OP, OP, OP. And no, I'm not gonna look for that one particular scene because I'm fairly sure that, yeah, that's it. That's the scene, 100%. Calling a truce. Okay, so so they are, sure, monster slayers and whatnot, but they are still human, all things considered. And Fatima, despite having like super fast crossbows and whatnot, and super like heightened senses and stronger muscles and whatnot, she's still a human despite all of that. And sure, she might hear where the phantom is, but the phantom is all about being a phantom, hiding in the shadows, hiding in the darkness, manipulating sound, as he says. So yeah, she was at a little bit of a disadvantage. Shizuku is doing very well though. This is great usage of the what do you call it? A trigger guard, I guess, of her musket to catch the blade. What she did? Wait, her musket doesn't have an open trigger guard. So does it? Oh, is it like a? No, it can't be like a lever reload. No, it opens. Okay, so apparently her trigger guard can just open if need be. Okay. Now, unfortunately, she punched Carmelia in the face. And what do those words mean? Tachikage. Tachikage. No such thing. It's a user on TikTok and on Twitter and on Instagram. But besides that, it doesn't really mean anything. A character from Final Fantasy XIV, Kenjin Tachikage. And besides that, a title of a song? Oh, okay, Reddit discussion about episode 8 of Undead Girl Murder Farce. Why did Shizuku say Tachikage? Actually, does anybody have any idea? One response to that post. Comment is asking, anyone know why Shizuku said Tachikage and Matsushima during her fight? The response, I wanna know this as well. Well, I wanna know this as well then. And there aren't really any other mentions of Tachikage. Okay, so Tachikage. I assume it's like a Tachi is the part of the musket and Kage is a stab, maybe something like that. I'm not sure, I don't know Japanese. And then Matsushima. Matsushima is a group of islands in Miyagi Prefecture. Yeah, it's a group of islands in Miyagi Prefecture. That's about it. And the name of some perfume, apparently. Sure. Okay. I'm not sure. I guess one thing that it might refer to, Tachikage and Matsushima. Tachikage is the name of someone close to Shizuku who died at the hands of a vampire, and Matsushima is her homeland. Besides that, I really have got nothing. But it seems at least plausible. So, just in case, I'm gonna note it down. I don't think that's it, but just in case. Matsushima and Tsuchikage? Tachikage. Tachikage is a name. Matsushima is Shizuku's home. Matsushima was infested by vampires. Everybody was killed in the attack, including Tachikage, who is Shizuku's older brother. I know, something along those lines. That's all I've got so far. And yeah, Shizuku is proficient with her weapon. But again, we're coming back to this theme, just a human. Regardless of how strong she is, she's but a human. And vampires' pheromones and aphrodisiac and whatnot will work on her. Your hand decided to kiss my lips. That's actually an interesting interpretation. I like it. Usually it is like, oh, a vampire kisses you and then aphrodisiac effect and you fall in love with that vampire. But what if you punch the vampire in the lips? Right? It's like a realistic version of that sort of magic myth of vampire kiss mind controlling you. Maybe there are some aphrodisiac glands on a vampire's lips, and that's why it works no matter whether it's the vampire who kisses you or is it you who punches the vampire in the face. It's cool. It's thought out, and it's something a little bit different than usual, where the vampire's powers aren't just, magic, but they can have some basis in, like, biology, for example. I have a unique venom, makes you feel numb and hot as you fall under my spell. Nothing magical about killing someone with a gun, indeed. I'll use Baritsu. I guess Baritsu... Okay, actually, I might as well just Google it, but... Baritsu. Yeah, It's a form of martial art described in Sherlock Holmes' story, essentially. Eclectic martial art and self-defense method of 1898 to 1902, combining elements of boxing, jiu-jitsu, cane fighting, and French kickboxing savate. And it was immortalized as Baritsu by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in Sherlock Holmes. So it existed even before Sherlock Holmes, but was given its like proper name only in that novel. There's a Baritsu Club, self-defense, decline, legacy, later life, contemporary interest and revival. Right, okay. So essentially something that existed actually in like Victorian England, industrial revolution England rather, but was properly immortalized in the Sherlock Holmes novels. Key to finding werewolves. For what purpose? Well, we want werewolves in our team, essentially. So I was correct that Moriarty is collecting monsters like their Pokemon. Except I simply thought that he collects them just to add them to his entourage. But now I know that he collects them to strengthen Jack, additionally. I like Alistair. He's, all things considered, all the murder considered, he's a gentleman. Just, you know, talking with Aya, not attacking her. She has no means of defending herself, and besides that, she's immortal, so it really wouldn't make sense for him to attack her. So they're having a nice little chat. Him just casually releasing the secrets. And this is Sherlock's superpower. Super fast sense of sight. I think some of it is animated on once. Yeah, the cane. For a few frames, it is animated on once. And characters shifting, the frame shifting is also on once, to add that little bit of illusion of smoother, faster movement. And he got hit with the poison, petrification poison, I assume. I honestly thought that this is the moment Alistair just goes down, Sherlock just smacks the antidote out of his hands, and Alistair is no more. All this time, I really was expecting someone of Moriarty's entourage to die. I was unsure who would it be. Perhaps Carmelia. That seemed fairly like a fairly safe bet. Perhaps Alistair, right? Despite all his magic and whatnot, he is just a human. He doesn't have magic super regeneration like Carmelia does, so he is easy to kill despite all of his tricks. Perhaps Jack. That was also a fairly safe bet in my mind, because one half Oni versus another half Oni, well, we of course know that the half Oni that we are rooting for, the half Oni who is the main character of the show, is going to win, so stands to reason that Jack would die. But nobody actually did. Now, Alistair didn't die, perhaps solely due to Moriarty's entrance. And this is, I assume, Sherlock throwing Moriarty off a cliff. Again, I'm unfamiliar with the Sherlock novels. I just know the general myth of him, the general idea popularized by movies and other pieces of media. So I don't know if he actually jumped down with Moriarty into some chasm, but I assume that he did, and that's why he That's why he expected Moriarty to be dead. And Aya is observing, of course. He's strong. Just a human. Absolutely easy to kill. Like, he was no trouble for Jack, but, you know, strong. So is Fatima, surviving all that scuffle. And I really was expecting that there's gonna be some, you know, bigger fight between many more people now. We got a taste of that chaos with just 3 of them. And now we're also adding Fatima, Phantom, and Jack. So now it's 6 people who would be jumping on the rooftops, fighting for the gem, catching it. Fatima shoots it out of the sky. Tsugaru catches it. Jack tackles Tsugaru. Right? That kind of thing. But Jack arrives, uses his vampiric powers, I assume, floods everything in blood, which stops time. Well, doesn't stop time, but rather paralyzes everybody. Casually grabs the gem and walks away. And this was really fast. I really was expecting, even hoping perhaps, that Fatima and Stringheart will survive. Or rather, I didn't expect them to die. I expected them to be some sort of recurring characters, right? Those peacekeepers, quote unquote, who are always following the the troublemaker duo of our protagonists, and our protagonists always escape them in the end, and the peacekeepers stand down on the ground. I'll get you yet, you know. I thought there's gonna be more or less this sort of a relationship between them, but it seems like Fatima is dead. Again, initially I thought that maybe he just disarmed her, and maybe still, like, inhaling hopium, maybe Fatima will be back with mechanical arms, with, like, crossbows built into them, and it will be super cool. But now she's just dead. And so is Stringheart. Just thrown into the wall, like a ragdoll. And of course, Arsene and Phantom making the correct choice and withdrawing. Now we have a confirmation who he is, that he has been involved in Aya's body stealage, as well as in creating Tsugaru. Actually, might be a good time to I go through some of those. Third party is involved in the first case of Raoul. They want to exterminate all the monsters and also stole Aya's body. Well, there is a third party that wants to exterminate monsters, and there is a third party that wants to stole Aya's body. So I guess both can get a separate yellow highlight. Professor experiments on the supernatural, Professor being Moriarty, I think. So yes. Phantom is actually a phantom. No, he isn't. London Underground is the way in and out. It isn't, it's the waterway. Not the London Underground. What else do we have here? Stringheart's germophobia is exploited. It isn't. 11 to 11:30, London Underground workers have a break. I mean, maybe they do, but if they do, it's not relevant to the story. Diamond interacts with moonlight. Doesn't interact with moonlight, but interacts with light. Fog himself is sus. Well, we don't know that yet. Arsene can manipulate Locke's mechanisms. We don't know that yet. Phileas knew Arsene was a monster. That's why he called for Aya. Probably not, but we don't know that. Tachikage is a name. Matsushima is Shizuku's home. Too early for that. Okay. Judging. And we have another detective on our hands. We have Sherlock, who's very observant. We have Aya, who's very observant. And now we also have Moriarty, who can tell how many people are carrying her case and who they are just by the state of her, cage. One of your surviving attendants. So there were more. There were more people attending to Aya. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder. Aya used to have a harem in her mansion. It would be on brand for an immortal being, and it would explain Shizuku saying that Carmilla isn't really that good, that she's had better with Aya being a member of her harem. Again, it's kind of a, not really based on facts and logic entirely, but it would be on brand, I guess. And we know that Aya had multiple attendants, so we can imagine that she lived in some mansion with those attendants attending her every need. Rather talented hired man. Important sample. And he wants to improve humanity, essentially. Young British man with a curly flaxen hair. That would be Jack. He wanted a strong... Would that be Jack? Flaxen. What the fuck does flaxen mean? I know what flax is. Oh, flaxen is like light blonde. We don't really have any light blonde characters. Certainly not Jack. Arsene would be one, but I don't think Arsene has anything to do with Moriarty. He wanted a strong body. He also asked how one conducts a transplant surgery. Human artificially bestowed with the power of a monster. So was it Jack or was it not Jack? Oh, I think I know. I think I know how it went. Initially, I was under the impression that Moriarty just grabbed a bunch of orphans from the streets of London, stuck them in a cage, and started experimenting on them with Oni cells, injecting this one with 5 milligrams, the next one with 10, another one with 15, right? And seeing which ones survive. And Jack and Tsugaru were the only survivors. So now Jack is working with Moriarty. But no, it seems like Jack wanted to become a half monster, and so Moriarty kidnapped orphans from the streets of London, experimented on them, figured out the proper dosage of Oni cells, and then injected them into Jack, having certainty that it will work and it will not kill him. I think that's more along those lines. He's the man who pulled off the perfect crime in Whitechapel 11 years ago. Yep, Jack the Ripper. Fearsome Onikoroshi, Tsugaru Shunichi. Okay, what's going on here? We have the stab, or rather throw. Then a sack with dust. I don't know where would Tsugaru get dust and why. I mean, why I know to... Oh, from the storage room that Fatima and Phantom fell through the roof with? Something like that? I'm not sure. Why is Tsugaru carrying Fatima's heart, though? And why is my camera doing that? Oh, to partially blind Jack. Okay. I think I think that's why. Amazing track in the background, by the way. This is a great shot. The Oni and the Immortal, both from Japan. Brawn, regenerative abilities. Yeah. Oni were about to go extinct, but didn't. Transplanted the Oni cells. Yeah, I infused Jack with just the right amount, so he was experimenting, trying to figure out what the right amount is. Next, Immortal cells. So, right now, with the Immortal cells, with just that, Jack would be identical to Tsugaru. Kinda, sorta. Jack has half Oni, and has Immortal cells that improve his regeneration and make it so that the Oni part doesn't get out of control. Tsugaru, similarly, is half Oni, more than half Oni, but regardless, and has some Immortal cells from the kiss with Aya that also improve his regeneration ability and make sure that the Oni half calms down. The difference stems from the fact that Tsugaru is much higher percentage of an Oni, seemingly an impossible percentage. All of the other test subjects with higher percentages of Oni cells have died. Tsugaru didn't. So technically, he should be stronger than Jack, more powerful, more going into the Oni side. Unfortunately, Jack also got his hands on some vampire cells. Just like the Oni hybrid, her body seemed to be artificially created. Now that is interesting. 950 years ago. That would be like year 900 something. That's like early Middle Ages? Something thereabouts? Yeah. I think it would place us... when did the Middle Age start? I know they started with the fall of Rome, but... no, 476 AD, so it was actually the Middle Ages. The medieval, or rather, the medieval era. The medieval era started around 476, and the Middle Ages span roughly 1,000 years between 1400 and 1450, ending between 1400 and 1450. Okay. Yeah, so it was during the medieval age, early-ish medieval age. So we are talking alchemy. We're absolutely talking alchemy. The middle of the medieval era is around where alchemists are trying to figure out how to turn lead into gold and all that jazz. Okay. But who a freak, an absolute freak. Do I know any significant medieval characters who dabbled in alchemy and witchcraft and shit like that? Not really, I'm afraid. Wait. No. Yeah, I've no clue. Let's not stop. Let's continue. Someone in the Middle Ages. Still the Immortal cells. Yeah. So eager to understand. Of course, it's all about understanding. Immortal cells provided Jack's body with powerful immunity. Unstable Oni cells also settled perfectly. So the exact effect that Aya said it would have. And in order to make Jack even more powerful, we get a vampire. Etzelin von Klatka. Is it an actual person? It actually is. Although rather under Atzo von Klatka or Etzelin von Klatka. It's a novel by Kim Newman named Anno Dracula, released in 1992. The first in the Anno Dracula series. Alternate history using 19th century English, and that's where he comes from, I assume. That's where Jack the Ripper comes from. Okay, who do we have here? Main characters. Vlad Tepes, Daniel Dravot, Mycroft Holmes, Inspector Lestrade, Arthur Homewood, Inspector Mackenzie, minor characters. Sherlock Holmes. And Klatka should also be here. Etzelin von Klatka. Yeah. Comes from Twain. Created by Mark Twain. Okay, so Etzelin von Klatka was created by Mark Twain, and Newman incorporated this character into his novels. And Etzelin von Klatka really comes from The Mysterious Stranger by Mark Twain. Okay, so Etzelin von Klatka is a character. Not gonna say a person, but a character at least. Of course, in the Carpathian Mountains. Where else? Okay, the borders check out. I think, mostly. His senses and regenerative abilities became more powerful, with no vulnerabilities like silver, holy water, or sunlight. Getting stronger and stronger without any actual downsides. I wonder, could Tsugaru also level up this way? That's an interesting thought. Could we find a vampire, a friendly vampire? We We know a friendly vampire, don't we? We know a friendly vampire. Okay. Tsugaru gets vampire cells from, what were they called? Godard. From Godard family. I wonder, because sure, okay, the cells can be added via some sort of a medical procedure, the way Moriarty does it, from like unwilling subjects, but we know that the cells, at least in the case of an immortal, can be passed in a willing way, without anybody having to die or be or having to be cut open, or anything of the sort. So could it be that maybe Jean, or who else is there left in the Godard family, or Claude, or Charlotte, gives Tsugaru a vial of their blood, Tsugaru drinks it, chases it down with something, and now he also has vampiric powers. Plausible. We're trailblazers, creating the world's first chimera. You already did create a chimera, technically. Right now, you're just trying to see how far you can go with it. And now you are also planning to add a werewolf to the bunch. We confirmed that all the test subjects were dead, except one who managed to escape. Who escaped after surgery. Well, if someone managed to escape from your hideout after a surgery, they're 100% a certified badass. It checks out. I thought you'd die right away from having too much Oni in you. No. That's Tsugaru's strength, that he has a much higher proportion of an Oni. For what? Revenge? Cure? No. A performance. That's it. That's all. Not going to finish him off, of course. Shizuku is not having fun with Carmelia, but still has enough clarity of mind to stab her with a cross. Really nice track in the background. You were terrible. I don't know how many centuries you've been alive, but I'm used to someone who's far more experienced than you. Aya. 100% Aya. Has to be Aya. I have to be correct here. Or maybe, okay, not necessarily a harem. Not necessarily a harem, but maybe Shizuku was an exclusive attendant of Aya. Shizuku was an exclusive, let's say, knight attendant to Aya. Thankfully, to Shizuku, they are withdrawing. So, just as I thought, they will either be defeated right here, right now, which really doesn't serve the story, or they will just get their query and withdraw. And that's exactly what they are doing here. They believe they have the gem, so they are withdrawing, and nobody can stop them. The banquet. I guess they are having tiny little banquets in their hideout, so it makes sense. surprisingly few casualties among the named characters. That's how I'm gonna say it. Pretty much only Stingheart, and Fatima, the only two victims. I really was expecting someone from Moriarty's entourage to die here. At least one person. Probably Alistair, because he's just a human ultimately. But nobody did. Shizuku is here. Must have been, considering how much it's affected you, it must have been quite powerful. Is Shizuku simply a very powerful human? Or is she also not quite human? Actually, worth noting down. Shizuku is not quite human. We have learned a lot in this episode about Tsugaru and Aya's pasts, but nothing that we wouldn't, suspect earlier. But there is a surprising amount of information we are learning about Shizuku, or at least we can surmise about her. First time you see her smile, though. That's worth immortalizing. First time in ever that we see Shizuku smile. And then Tsugaru smiles and Shizuku no longer does. Lupin and the Phantom couldn't be found on the premises. They escaped through the waterways. It's really nice to see Aya commit some blunder. She's not infallible. I like it. It really humanizes her. She might be a genius detective and an immortal and whatnot, but she still has a brain fart every now and then. It happens to everybody, to the biggest geniuses there are. I like it. I like this little moment. And I like her reaction. No, we have not been utterly defeated. This is great, and it's animated on once to create this smoothness to this transition. Now his mouth movement isn't on once, but the zoom in is. Now behold. We have won the battle for the diamond. Not quite. Not quite, I'm afraid. I love it. I love this scene of, everybody panicking. I love how everybody's so incredibly shocked. Yep, sliced clean through. Some sleight of hand. Amazing. Tsugaru coming in clutch. I love him. I love Tsugaru. I love Aya. God damn it, I just do. They're honestly, easily the best protagonists, the best protagonist duo, the best main characters of this season, of all the shows I've seen so far. Especially the chemistry between them. I love it. The dawn is red as blood, the sunset is purple as a corpse. Do not gaze upon my hideous self as the moon shines down on me, for there's wolf inside of me. Sure, apparently that means put it to the arc lamp. Or at least to UV light. Europium. Fangz... Fangzachn... Fangzachnewald. Fangzachnewald. Okay. They're going to be a pain in the rear, and that they are. They're great. I love Tsugaru and Aya. I keep repeating myself, but it really bears repeating how much I love these two. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. I haven't loved a person as much as I love those two. No, okay, that would be pushing it a little, but yeah, I really do enjoy them as characters. Okay. Oh boy. What can I say? Really? Oh, my cable tries to escape. What can I say? Great episode. Again, as always. This show never disappoints. Never not manages to surprise me with something. I was certain of so many things, of so many ways that this episode might go, and none of them came to pass. Well, almost none of them. But it's really setting up for a long run. It really is. And it's a pity that this season is just 13 episodes, because I can absolutely see it being okay, maybe not a weekly release. That really tends to lower the quality of the show, and then you have to introduce filler and whatnot, and you turn into another Naruto. But the source material, I can see it continuing for quite some time, being quite long, and the same goes for this show. I can easily see 3 seasons of it being released, and a movie, and there's still being stories left to tell. Moriarty still being out and about, and nothing really being solved quite yet. Or perhaps some other grander conspiracy becoming uncovered after they manage to defeat the Banquet. I guess the biggest surprise of this episode was, just as I said, the fact that nobody from the Banquet was eliminated. Right? Carmelia got close. She got stabbed and shot by Shizuku, but ultimately she came out scot-free for the most part. Alistair Crowley also was close to death, but Sherlock decided not to finish him. Jack is probably the least likely to die, and we don't really know that much about Victor to be able to tell. I wonder if we are going to go for the, not a trope, but like a way of storytelling where you peel away the layers from the big bad, and then finally you get to the big bad. Right? You have to defeat all the demon generals first to be able to kill the demon lord. Essentially, kind of sort of deal. But they all work together, it seems, so far, maybe. Or maybe they also do go on their own individual missions. In which case, it could still go this way. Carmelia being sent after Tsugaru and Aya, because she really wants to exact revenge on Shizuku, and then she dies. Right? And then, I don't know, Alistair is sent for some mission in in Spain, and Tsugaru and Aya just happen to be there, and they just happen to cross paths, and Alistair dies. And then finally it's just Moriarty and Jack standing at the top, the last ones to defeat. It could certainly go this way, but I wonder if it will. Probably not, honestly, but it is a possibility, and this show, the cast and everything, would really lend itself well to that, I feel. But what actually happens, we don't know. It remains to be seen. What else is there? I was really surprised that Fatima and Stingheart actually are dead. I really was expecting them to be recurring characters. I wonder what's gonna be the reaction of the organization they were a part of. I believe Fatima was one of the strongest members, maybe, or was she converted to one of the weakest? I'm not sure. But I wonder if that organization will take bigger interest in the banquet now. And will they perhaps work alongside Tsugaru and Aya from the sheer necessity, or from the rule of enemy of my enemy is my friend? Plausible. Now, if only I remembered the name of that organization. Tsugaru and Aya work alongside. I'm just gonna call them White Org against the how do you write small q? That's how. 1K. Yeah, that's plausible. That's plausible. One thing is for certain is that we are going for the... Are we actually going for the werewolf village though? We know that Moriarty has a goal in there. He wants a werewolf. We know that the White organization would have a goal there. But Aya and Tsugaru? Not really. It doesn't really concern them, does it? So I wonder if we are actually going to find those werewolves just so that Moriarty doesn't. Maybe. Also would be interesting if Jack were to have the power of the vampire and Tsugaru have the power of the werewolf. That, like, you know, classic Twilight duality of werewolf versus vampire. Actually, kind of plausible. Jack has vampire cells. Tsugaru gains werewolf once. Yeah, I wonder where this story is going to go from here, because it could go back to episodic case of the... maybe not case of the week, but case of the month, essentially, and now we get... we go to Germany because there is someone attacking the villagers and we need to solve that case. It could go that way. Or we could like get off that weekly train and get on to like one long, coherent, cohesive story that follows from episode to episode. I think this is more likely, especially with, or maybe those two could absolutely be connected. We know that there are werewolves in Germany. we go to Germany to solve the case of the werewolves, and at the same time we follow the storyline, and we like let the plot develop, because that's where Moriarty also wants to go to find those werewolves. Could actually be both. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I'm having trouble thinking and talking because I'm sleepy, so I don't want to subject you to more of my half asleep musings, and I'm just gonna end this video here. But maybe you guys have something more to say. If so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, neither from the source material nor from the show itself. If you do want to talk spoilers, up here and also in the description there is a link to my Discord where you can talk about it to your heart's content. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Undead Girl Murder Farce, but also Helck, Zom 100, Nanatsu no Maken, Shihai, Suru, Magia, Record, Ancient Magus Bride, and others coming at you in the future. I will be streaming this weekend the look at the seasonal shows of fall 2023, so you might want to be there and click the bell icon to be notified when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me on YouTube itself. Right now there's gonna be a whole lot of buttons below the video where you can do that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. And as always, you guys do all the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here's the list of my wonderful patrons: QB, Without a Net, The Crippled Survivor, Zetran, Zayrainer, Alchemaster, Marsh, Fassel, Dr. Wotoke, Yuki Ally, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without needing the Oni cell transplant or something.